Are we advanced today? Yes, we have computers, but look at all the wires. Our infrastructure has not actually progressed. Trains, cars, and planes, in principle, are the same as they were when they were invented. Aesthetics and slight improvements in speed give the illusion of progress. Control and manipulation, both necessary as we advance technologically, because technology exposes their lies. Advanced cameras expose the lies of space. That is why the key methods for discerning truth from lies is to trust our own eyes, senses, and judgment over narrative. There is zero evidence of the heliocentric model on Earth. And to follow the people who run our world, follow the money, follow the bloodlines, follow the symbolism, and follow their fear. When they suppress, when they scream hoax, when they smear, we must dig and examine. The question burns. Who or what cut down our giant trees and mined the earth? And where did all the mined material go? There are a handful of possible conclusions we can draw from studying the geological nature of our flat Earth. The first is that whatever beings mined Earth were undeniably more advanced technologically, industrially, and intelligently than the human species. The second is that they were obviously much larger than us as a species. You could reconcile the possibility that they were humans like us, but just technologically more advanced, and had developed the machines capable of committing such actions. But this is very unlikely. Mythological stories of giants abound in our culture, and these tales can be found in every single culture throughout history. In the Christian and Jewish biblical texts, we find accounts of the Nephilim. In ancient Greece and Rome, we have giants and titans. In the Quran, we have the people of Ad. Giants are present in scripture, mythology, oral history, folklore, literature, and movies. The Book of Enoch speaks about fallen angels, or the Watchers, beings that came from a realm above the firmament and began to interbreed with humans. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 300 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. The canonical Bible gives us the same account, this time naming these giants as the Nephilim. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and afterward. During that time, the sons of the true God continued to have relations with the daughters of men, and these bore sons to them. They were the mighty ones of old times, the men of fame. The land that we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants. And all the people that we saw in it are of great size. There we saw the Nephilim, and to ourselves we seem like grasshoppers, and so we seem to them. It would be naive to think the ancient texts have not been edited, or books of scripture hidden. The Vatican Apostolic Archives are highly secretive vaults containing thousands of texts inaccessible to the public. Even Wikipedia gives credence to the enormity of these vaults, stating that they contain 53 miles of shelving. What is important to remember is that the biblical texts also contain chronicles of their God, of their Lucifer. The deeper you travel down the rabbit hole, the more these texts surprisingly align with the reality of our world and offer insight much better than any corrupted field of science. The Nephilim, we are told, were the nuclear weapon of Satan, full of destruction, wickedness, and corruption. They corrupted human genetics and were destroying the earth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. For all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. And in those days Noah saw the earth, that it has sunk down, and its destruction was near. And all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of heavens were opened. This is the story of the great flood that God created to rid the earth of the Nephilim and save humanity. Noah survived because he was the only human whose genetics had not been corrupted by the Nephilim. The Great Flood myth can be found throughout all cultures, including Hebrew, Hindu, Babylonian, Norse, Chinese, African, European, Mesoamerican, Mesopotamian, and Australian Aborigine. This is the same satanic method of deception we see with the many names of Lucifer throughout cultures. There is one true historical account of what happened before and during the Great Flood, but the account has been mythologized and fragmented in order to deliberately deceive and confuse. People are less likely to gravitate towards mythology when the scientists are pushing mathematical bamboozlement. The geological and natural world cannot be edited. The truth only suppressed and manipulated through narrative. These wonders provide undeniable evidence of large-scale mining of Earth. They fear us discovering the anomalies, the pieces of history they cannot cover up, or overlooked when creating their false narratives. Advanced cameras prove that there is some kind of water surrounding our firmament above, and the tremendous mining of land under the oceans indicate that at some point in our history, the Earth was indeed sunk down and being destroyed by a species much larger than humans. Impact.